Here's a recap of Day 7 of testimony in the Diddy trial. The day started out with Diddy's former assistant, David James, taking the stand. He briefly testified yesterday towards the end of the day, but didn't really say much except for his job duties, and he got a little bit more into it today. David worked for Diddy from 2007 to 2009, so this was the early days of his relationship with Cassie. David says that he never saw Diddy and Cassie physically fight, however, he did hear them argue quite a bit about Cassie's career. He said there was a time where Diddy had confronted him and accused him of writing a blog post lying about Diddy hitting Cassie, and had looked through his browser history on his computer to see if it was him, but it was not. He said there were other occasions where Diddy's possessions would go missing, and Diddy would direct his security to look through David's belongings, as well as subject him to a lie detector test. He says that one of his job duties was to set up hotel rooms that Diddy would be staying in. He made sure that the hotel rooms were stocked with the foods he liked, drinks, toiletries, and 25 to 30 pill bottles. He said he would be tasked with buying the items for these hotel rooms, including the baby oil, condoms, and lubricant, and that he would pay for those items using cash, and Diddy had asked him to not submit it for reimbursement through the company because he did not want any record tied to his name with these items being purchased. Also recalled the incident involving Suge Knight, where Diddy had told David, as well as a security agent of his, to get in the car and drive him to the diner where Suge Knight was seen, and Diddy sat in the back seat with 3 handguns in his lap. David said this is the first time working that job that he felt like his life was in danger, and he soon after put in his notice to Diddy, which meant that he would wrap up working for him in about May of 2009. Next to take the stand was Regina Ventura, which is Cassie's mom. She then corroborated Cassie's story about the email that Cassie had sent her back in December of 2011, saying that Diddy was threatening to release the sexually explicit videos, as well as to physically harm her and Kid Cudi, who she had begun dating at the time. She then testified saying that Diddy told her that she needed to wire him $20,000 to recoup the money that he had spent on Cassie throughout their relationship, and otherwise he would release the videos. Regina said she took out a home equity loan in order to wire him that money. She did wire it to him, but about 4 or 5 days later, the money was wired back to her, and it was never explained to her or communicated why. The jury was then shown some photos that Regina had taken of Cassie when she was bruised up from one of the times that Diddy had assaulted her. She said that she took those photos to keep the evidence. She also said that December of 2011 was the first time that Cassie had told her about Diddy being physical with her. Next to take the stand was a man named Sharay Hayes, who was a male exotic dancer who was involved with Cassie and Diddy from the years 2012 to 2016. Hayes detailed his first encounter with Cassie and Diddy, and it really mirrored what Daniel Phillips said on the first day of testimony, saying that Cassie had called him, saying that it was her birthday and that her husband told her that she could hire an exotic dancer, so he expected to go there and do a little strip show, and it turned into something much more than that. Hayes said in that first encounter, he did not know who either of them were. He did have about 8 to 12 encounters with them over the course of those years. He said he eventually found out who they were because during one of the encounters in a hotel room, he had noticed one of the TVs were on with a message that said, "Welcome to Sean Combs." A lot of his testimony really mirrored what was said in the first day of testimony, with the experience really being that Diddy would sit in a corner of the room and direct Cassie what to do, though Hayes said he never experienced any physical violence between the two of them. The prosecution then called their 10th witness to the stand, Homeland Security Agent Gerard Gannon. He was tasked with being in charge of the ground operation the day that they did a search warrant on Diddy's Miami Beach home back in March of 2024. Gannon said about 80 to 90 officers took part in the raid that day to take over Diddy's 20,000 square foot home. He said that he had special forces there just in case they were to come face to face with armed security. He also had some agents stationed on boats surrounding the property just to intercept anybody that could have possibly been trying to escape the property during that raid. During that raid, agents seized AR-15s, which the jury saw some pictures of, as well as some sex toys, some baby oil, lubricant, condoms, a box of platformed high heels, as well as some lingerie. The day wrapped in the middle of Gannon's testimony. He is expected to return tomorrow. It is also expected that a psychiatrist will take the stand at some point the remainder of this week, as well as rapper Kid Cudi.